Hey, everybody. I would love to welcome you to the first day of the Ace of Spades University. Today, you guys are going to get all of my knowledge about the game of spades. I love it so much. I grew up playing it, and it's one of those things where I know sometimes it can be intimidating because, different regions play different styles. But don't worry, we're going to cover all of that. So, the wonderful thing about this game is it's one of fun, of passion. I know sometimes people are like, why are spades players so loud and boisterous? And, a lot of times I feel like it's just people are really passionate. You know what I mean? And there's no right or wrong way to play. It's very similar to what I like to think of as like barbecue styles. I don't know if you are familiar or if you love barbecue like I do, but you go to Texas, in Austin, they say they have the best barbecue. Folks from Memphis say they have the best barbecue. You go to Kansas City and they tell you what? No, we have the best barbecue. Similar to spades, right? Some people, they play it where it's a joker, joker, deuce, ace style. That's how I learned. That's how everybody in my family, my friends learned. And don't worry, we'll cover that. Other people play where it's a joker, joker, and then the wild card is the deuce of diamonds, so the two of diamonds, and then the ace. Some people play it's just no jokers at all, no wild cards at all, and it's very textbook, and it's just the ace is the high card. So, like I said, there is no right or wrong way. Spades is a game of strategy. It is a game of communication. It's a game of memory. You have to pay attention. But once you master it, you can go to any cookout, any function with your friends. And it's a lot of fun. And so it's one of those things where I found out that there's not a whole lot that's been written about it. I am a graduate student, though, so I actually did find a doctoral dissertation, and I'm writing my own book about it. But while I'm doing that, I want to document the process, and I want to bring all of you guys along with me. And I think that, the more people that we get interested in spades and, rekindle that love of the game, the better. Because, we're surviving a pandemic. We're 2 years in. It's been difficult and draining for all of us. And it's hard to get together for a spades game when, there's so many different variants of Omicron going on and Delta and, the coronavirus and Corona or COVID-19 is just mutating constantly. So during this downtime, I'm in ice storm right now. I don't know about you guys, where you are in the country or in the world. But Ice Storm Landon is here. And I thought, you know what? I was sitting here doing some writing and I thought, this is a wonderful way to, kind of disseminate all this information, get it out to you guys, let you know that I'm out there thinking about you. And I want everybody to feel included in the game of spades. I know the way I grew up, I didn't learn from my family, like, a lot of my aunties and my uncles. I'm not even sure how they grew up. My mom, but I was really fortunate. I learned actually in the back of my middle school. And so, anyway, I've just been playing since I was 12. And it's like a foreign language. It's really good to learn it early, but you can master it as an adult. And so that's what we're going to be focused on here today, is mastering the game of spades. So let's get started, okay? So the basics of spades, right? So spades is traditionally a game with four players, and you're played in partnership, right? So it's you and your partner versus the other two people who are partners, okay? Sitting opposite of each other at a card table, okay? So the players take turns playing out every single card. So it depends on your style, right? So the way I was taught, there's two jokers. There's a big joker and a little joker. And then the deuce, the two of spades, is the wild card, which means that's the next in line in the hierarchy. And then there is the ace of spades, okay? And then subsequently, every single book is, the king, the queen, the jack, the 10, the 9, the 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, the 2 except for the 2 of spades, which is the wild, so on. So every single book is king, queen, jack, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay. The clubs, you have your diamonds and you have your hearts. All right. So after you shuffle, okay. So sometimes, depending on, like I said, how you play, the house rules, right? Everybody has different rules and different ways of playing. In my family, the way I played, or the way I learned in middle school, and then when I played with my family, what we would do to decide who would, shuffle first. So we would all take a high card, or we would all, deal out a card, and then whoever is the high card would shuffle first. Or, it could be the low card, depending on if you like to shuffle. I do, because I've practiced it a lot, right? The things that we practice, those are the things we tend to like the most. So if I got a high card, I would shuffle, right? Then I would cut the deck, right? So after you shuffle 3 times or so, you would always take the deck of cards and put them to the person who was at your right hand, who's at the right of you, right? So they would pick up maybe half the deck, stack them on top of each other, give it back to you. That's called cutting the deck, okay? So we always say you cut to the right and you deal to the left. So after that person to the right of me on the other team, right, not my partner, because my partner's sitting right in front of me, they would cut the deck and then I would deal, okay, clockwise, right? So I would deal to the left of me to, every single person, and then I would get the last card. Now, when you're dealing the deck, if you don't get the last card, then something went wrong, right? A mess. So you need to make sure that you get the last card, right? Okay. So after that, we look at the cards, we put them in order and color coordination, which is so important, okay? It's called bidding your hand, okay? It's an estimation. You're estimating how many cards, right? A lot of times, and in a lot of families, the first hand bids itself, okay? Which means it sets the tone for the whole game, okay? So let's say, and this is where the strategy comes in at, okay? So you look at your hand, and we'll talk more and more about bidding, because that's extremely important. Learning how to bid your hand correctly. It sets the tone for the whole game, okay? And there's a lot of terminology and things that we'll get into. So I don't want to overwhelm you guys with like the technical things, but I just want to give you an overview, okay? So let's just say you're bidding your hand and you continue to go through. There's going to be 13 cards in each hand, right? So the object of the game is to win as many books as possible. Now online, there's places you can play online, and they actually call them tricks, right? Which is pretty funny. I've never heard that expression before, but everyone's different to each of his own. Like I said, everybody's different. The good news is once you've mastered something, you can learn different variations and different regional differences of things. And it's okay. Like if you're from, Texas or whatever, or you go to another state, you order your favorite dish, you realize that the spices might be a little bit different, but overall it's the same dish. It's the same with spades, okay? Sometimes people freak out, but I don't want to freak you guys out about the small differences. What I do want on this channel specifically is to cover the bases and then teach you all the different variations. You can choose which one you like the best, but also know that if you do go over a friend's house or, you get somebody that plays a little bit differently, you can switch that style up and you can play along with them, okay? So you're bidding your hand, right? And you can't go past 13, right? So 13 books in total. Let's say, you and your partner get 13 books and the other team gets 0. That's called a Boston. Okay, that's rare, but it's a huge victory. Most of the time you're going to get about I would say between, 4 to 7 books. That's usually the most common. 4 books is the lowest you can bid between you and your partner. That's called going board. Okay, like that's the minimum. All right. Like I said, the first hand bids itself. So usually you don't have to say, I'm bidding this or I'm bidding that. You just play the cards and then it sets the tone for how you're going to keep score. All right. I hope you guys are still with me because, like I said, I don't want to make the video too long and I don't want to put too much on you or confuse you. But I want to give you an overall basis. Okay. So, somebody plays, let's say they start out with the ace of clubs. So in suit, everybody needs to play a club, okay? Now, if you don't have a club on the first hand, that's very rare. But what you can do is you can cut and use a spade. Typically, it's your lowest spade, and you would win the overall hand, okay? And that's why it's called spades, because spade is the highest suit out of all the suits, out of the hearts, the clubs, and the diamonds. Spade is the winner, is the top suit. So you would, continue to play. And if somebody threw out a diamond, the king of diamonds, you would have to play a diamond. Now, if you have that suit, if you have a diamond, but you choose to play a spade or something else, that's called reneging, like reneging on your word or your trust or, and that's not good. That usually happens when people don't pay attention. So you don't want to do that. Okay. You definitely want to pay attention to who's throwing out what card. You don't want to talk over the table, right? You can trash talk and, have fun, but you don't want to talk about the cards themselves. Okay. That's a carnal rule. That's like an unspoken rule. And that's my goal, right? To give you guys that hidden curriculum, that all the unspoken rules to spades, okay? And then, of course, whoever has the most books wins that hand, okay? You guys can usually play up to, typically, most times we play up to 250, but sometimes if it's like a cookout or, you want to stay there for longer, you play up to 500 and then you switch partners, okay? So it's a lot of fun, you guys. I don't want you, like I said, to get overwhelmed. I want you to learn the game, to master the game, and have fun with it. And I will see you guys next time. We'll get more into the technicalities and we'll go more into depth in the detail with every video. All right? Okay. Welcome to Ace of Spades University. And by the time you guys graduate, you'll be able to play whoever, whenever, wherever. I'll talk to you later. Take care. Goodbye. Oh, and always respect the house rules.